Hello and welcome to the video. My name is Vivian O'Callaghan. I hope you're well. This is a follow-on video from my last one speaking about Bitcoin and its potential to make $100,000 per coin. At the end of that video, I spoke about other cryptocurrencies which I believe have the potential to outperform Bitcoin in 2019. One of those coins is a coin called Vechain. Vechain is a very interesting company and coin, and it originated as an ERC20 token from Ethereum and originally started as VIN. So in early 2018, they moved on to their own blockchain and are now called Vechain Thor, or VET for short. During this transition, they went from having 867 million coins to 87 billion coins. This means if you had, for every one VIN coin you would now have 100 VET coins. But what does the company do? So it's the brainchild of a person called Sonny Liu, who is an ex-executive of Louis Vuitton. As you can imagine, in Louis Vuitton and other luxury goods, one of the biggest issues they have is counterfeiting. And he was trying to come up with a way to prevent this. And he was trying to come up with some solution to prove to the end buyer that this indeed was a legitimate Louis Vuitton bag. And he came up with a supply chain protocol. And what this basically means is it's some way of tracking the goods or products from the producer or manufacturer right the way through the supply chain to the end user and beyond in some cases. How do they do this? So what they've done is they've come up with a way to give digital identities to physical products or stock. And how they do this is using radio frequency identifiers, or RFIDs. They also use quick response codes, which are QR codes, which you all will have seen on products, or if you've transferred cryptocurrency from one person to another, quite often we use QR codes. And also they use near field communication, NFC. So using these technologies, what they do is, in the case of, for example, with Louis Vuitton, what they could do is put one of these chips into the leather of the bag at manufacturing process. From then on, that bag can be tracked and traced from the manufacturer right the way through the transportation to the end retail shop and, of course, the end user. What this does then, it gives complete peace of mind to the buyer that they have bought an actual Louis Vuitton bag. And even better than that, say that person wants to sell their bag on in a year's time, 2 years' time, as a second-hand item. Well, then the person buying it then from an individual will simply be able to check that this truly is a Louis Vuitton bag. So this is really going to change the luxury good market to be able to verify that the products are indeed the real deal and not a counterfeit. You can imagine the huge business that's done in counterfeiting at the moment. This has huge application. So it's a real world way of using blockchain to make the existing setup even better. So this is huge opportunity, not just in the luxury goods market, but in pharmaceutical tracing products like vaccines, in the food industry, in the automotive industry. And they've made deals with some very significant companies with this in mind. But you can imagine, for example, transporting frozen fish. Frozen fish from the point where it's manufactured and produced and packed and frozen, it must stay at minus 18 degrees or less during the transportation stage to, say, for example, the supermarket. Now, at the moment, we just have to take the word of the transportation company that, yes, it was always at minus 18 degrees and all's good. But what if it got to minus 14, minus 12, minus 10 degrees during the transportation stage at some point in time, but they brought it back to minus 18 degrees just before delivery? Well, the shopping center or the supermarket at that stage would have no idea that this fish could potentially be spoiled because they're simply taking the word of what has been said. However, with what Vechain have is they have a temperature control tracking device as part of their overall solution, and it will give the information to the blockchain right throughout the transportation process and right throughout its lifetime, from when it's been frozen right through to the supermarket, and in fact to the end user when they buy it from the supermarket, and can actually show the end user that it never went above the minus 18 degrees right throughout the process. Or if it did, they can simply refuse the product. So this is huge steps forward in improving the whole supply chain that we have in so many different products. Again, in the automotive industry, one of the big issues within that is what they call clocking. So maybe someone does 100,000 kilometers on their car over a few years, but they then clock the car, put it back to 25,000 miles, and then sell the car on like this, which is obviously, again, a form of counterfeiting or point of fraud. With Vechain solution, they will have the mileage being inputted into the blockchain right throughout its history, and therefore it cannot possibly be clocked. So this is a real great use case for blockchain, this whole supply chain protocol, and can be used in so many different industries. And in fact, as impressive as this and what they've put together is, it's possibly more impressive to see some of the companies that they have done deals with so far. Just share my screen and you'll see a few of the companies that they're working for. So they have a deal and a partnership struck up with DNVGL. They're a certification company. It's a global quality assurance and risk management company. It's the leader in its field. They do 20 billion a year. They have 350 offices in over 100 countries. They're a company that provides companies with audits and advisory services, software solutions, as well as providing them with certifications, which are crucial in their operation. And in fact, on the 7th of March of this year, they announced the implementation of Vechain's first DApp, My Story. What does this do? Within their offering, My Story, targeting the Italian wine market at first, allows consumers to see the full history of the products and their journey from grape to bottle, simply by scanning a QR code glued onto the bottle. So again, it just shows that if you think you've bought an Italian bottle of wine, that you actually have. And this is really great use case. They've also, again, look at another huge partnership here. Everybody knows PwC, one of the biggest auditing and advisory companies in the world, and have literally outlets in every city in the world. They have struck a deal as well. And it's not just a partnership with PwC, and in fact, there's some ex-PwC people working now in Vechain, but it goes beyond just a partnership between themselves. It's a partnership goes beyond the sole advisory role, as PwC presents Vechain with clients and promotes Vechain solutions to their clients. So not only are PwC going to be using what Vechain have to offer, but they're actually then going to recommend it to their clients. This has the potential to create mass adoption right throughout the world. So some of the partnerships they're creating here are well worth noting. Another big one here is Vechain and Nagel. They have 1,400 offices around the world, again do 20 billion a year, and are in 109 countries. So who are they? They're a Swiss-based company, the biggest global sea freight forwarder in the world, and second in air cargo. The firm accounts for approximately 10% of the world's air and sea freight business and has over 20 billion in revenue. So pretty substantial company, and again with lots of contacts all over the world, and they are now looking at using the Vechain solution. So some very, very significant partnerships being created here. Another one, as you can see down here, is the Chinese tobacco industry. Again, a huge area where mass counterfeiting going on in the whole cigarette industry, and this is going to attempt to cut that out by showing from, again, track it from manufacturer right through the way through to the retailer and the end buyer. Other ones of note are they have a deal done with BMW, obviously in the automotive industry. The idea here is they are testing and running it with BMW first, and if all goes well, it'll be ran out right throughout BMW the world over. So they have some very, very significant partnerships, and none bigger than the one they have with the national Chinese government. So the likes of NIO have made a big deal out of the fact that they have regional agreements made with different parts of China, Well, Vechain have actually made agreements with the national government and are going through testing phases in a number of cities at the moment. And should this be successful, it's suggested that it's going to be rolled out right throughout China. So you can imagine, first of all, how big that is, but then other government bodies you would expect will also take up Vechain. So the potential here is for Vechain to have very significant mass adoption over the coming years. And so it's a very exciting space, I believe. So with that in mind, the overall summary for me with Vechain is fairly simple. This company have come up with a real use case for blockchain and how it can be adopted into the existing structures and improve them dramatically. So it would suggest to me that this particular company and this coin have huge potential going into the future. We've seen the huge partnerships they have, and more to come, we're told. So it's and you actually have the potential to earn passive income through Vechain by holding on to the coin. So there's potential for passive income as well, which is of course very interesting to most people. So you would look at this, and I would say it's highly likely that this coin is undervalued. If you look here at the charts just at the minute, their total market cap at the moment is 557 billion. This is down from a high of 2.5 billion. Sorry, that's 557 million, but down from a high of 3.5 billion. So when you see where it's at the moment, the pricing that it's at, the partnerships it's got, and the real use case it's got for around the world, then to me, this looks like it's got very significant potential, and I would see the value of this rising very significantly over 2019 and beyond. So I would say watch the space. Of course, do your own research. This is most definitely not financial advice, but looking at what they've got, the partnerships they've got, and its current value, I would say this is one to watch for the future. It's highly likely to get into the top 10, I would say. It's in the top 20 at the moment. And I think it bodes very well. So again, do your own research, see what you think. Hopefully you found the video useful. If you did, please take a like for here, subscribe to the video. There's many more videos to come. Click on the bell sign, and we'll talk to you all very soon. I hope you found that useful. Thank you.